Hello and welcome to the Inside Scoop. Today is episode 6. I'm so glad to be here. And fun fact about this video is I actually filmed this whole entire episode earlier on today. And whenever I went to edit it, there was no audio. So apparently my microphone had disconnected or something, so it didn't work. And that was very frustrating, but we're back at it again. We're just gonna talk about what I talked about earlier. Um, Hopefully this time it works, and if it doesn't, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably crash out. But anyways, before we get into today's topic, I wanted to tell you guys a little story that I haven't really gotten the chance to talk about. It's not a long story or anything. One of the days this week at school, I was eating lunch, and then right after my lunch, my little sister and I go to the other high school. We have kind of a split campus at my school. But yeah, so then we drove to our final class of the day. I get in my class, and it's welding, and I have a test. So the room was completely silent, like so silent, and my stomach just goes insane. I think my stomach was digesting all the food that I had just eaten, but it was just the worst timing ever. I wanted to just put a hood on and just go emo. But anyways, no one said anything, so that was good at least, but I was just like, of all the times that could happen, why now when we're taking a test? Because I mean, we have a test in my welding once every 9 weeks. So yeah, that was very interesting thing that was going on, and I was embarrassed at the time, but I'm over it now. I just thought that was a little bit funny and wanted to tell you guys. But today, we're going to be talking about time, everything to do with time, and I think this has been a pretty important thing in my life recently because I actually only have 2 more weeks left of my junior year of high school. And that's just so crazy to me because I literally remember the summer before high school just thinking, oh my gosh, I still have 4 more years of school. How am I going to do it? Is it going to be really hard? Is it going to, am I going to fit in with the people around me? All of those things, the normal things that go through the mind of someone who's about to enter high school, And people would always say to me, it's going to pass by really quickly. Your time flies. And it's going to be fun, but it's going to be hard. But ultimately, you need to cherish the moments because they go by so quickly. And at the time, I didn't understand. I was like, I have 4 years. And now looking back on it, I'm about to be a senior. And I just realized how true that is, how fast time goes. And if we don't stop and look around and take it in, we're going to miss it. And I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss these beautiful things about my life. I want to remember it and I want to be in the moment, be exactly where I am. And that's been so important for me. And I think I'm just realizing more and more every day how important it is to cherish these moments and be in the present instead of always looking at the future, always looking at the next thing. Another thing with the kind of time passing by is COVID. I mean, COVID was a time where we had to wear masks, we couldn't go outside, and honestly, at the time, I never thought that I'd be able to go to school in person again. I never thought I would be able to go outside and not wear a mask. And here we are now. And it's literally been over 6 years since COVID started, and it's just insane how far we've come, but it doesn't feel like it's been that long because of time. Time is so weird, and it's so interesting how the days, and the day-to-day when we're going through hard things or, we're not going through the best times in our lives, the days feel so hard, but the years are short, the years go by in an instant and they're gone. And it's just absolutely insane. And because the days go by so quickly, that's why we need to cherish them. We need to really use our time wisely. Another example of it is when I was going through an eating disorder during my 8th grade and freshman year, that was a point in my life where I never thought I was gonna get out of it. I couldn't imagine myself on the other side of it. I couldn't imagine myself eating food and enjoying it and not being self-conscious about it. I couldn't imagine myself not being just crippled with anxiety. I couldn't imagine myself any other way than the way I was. And here I am now on the other side of it. And it's like, I'm so different. I'm so glad that I'm different. I'm glad that I've come so far. But I didn't realize that I was out of those times until I was actually out of it. You know, now that I'm looking back on it, I can't really remember a lot of the me from then because I'm here now and the time has flown by and I'm so different than I was. And yeah, just the idea of time passing by so quickly, it just motivates me to cherish every moment because I know that I don't have infinite amount of time. And, I'm going to be going to college in a year. I'm going to be going to live off by myself and be independent and grow, and it's going to be so amazing. But before I can be there, I need to be here where I am. I need to experience what's going on at my house. I need to cherish the time that I still do have with my family. And it's not a lot of time. When you think about a year, it's like, oh my gosh, that's such a long time. But in the grand scheme of things, a year is but a breath in our lives. It's not a lot of time. And I really want to embrace those moments. I want to take every chance I can to hang out with my family, to prioritize the things that mean the most to me. And yesterday, I actually had the chance to go to my little sister's choir performance, and she's in middle school. And if you know anything about middle schoolers, you know that they're very loud and just obnoxious. So whenever I was, gonna go to this concert, I was like, oh my gosh, they're probably gonna be not the greatest at singing. They're gonna be so loud. But when I was there, it was like, no, like I'm not always gonna have the opportunity to be at these shows. I'm gonna be going to college. I'm not gonna be able to come watch these all the time. So I need to be in the moment. I need to enjoy it. And that's what I did. And I actually had a lot of fun at the choir performance. And I don't know where these kids are learning to sing like that, but they were actually incredible. And I was incredibly impressed with how well they sang. It was pretty cool to see. I think it was like a pop show of the year or something. So I knew a lot of the songs, which is really nice. But I was just in that moment yesterday. I was there and I was nowhere else. I was in the moment, and that's really my goal for the next year and a half until I go to college, of be where my feet are and stop looking so far ahead all the time, because it's important to experience the now. I don't want to look back on my life and just realize that I was never present for anything. I was just breezing by. No, I want to have these experiences. I want to experience it so that when I am in college and I feel lonely or I feel sad or anything, I can look back on these moments and realize how important these people are to me, my family, my friends, these memories that I'm making right now. I don't want to forget them. I want to cherish them. And that is so important to me. And I think oftentimes with me and a lot of people, whether they go to school or work on a day-to-day basis, we're always waiting for it to be Friday. We're always waiting for it to be the weekend. But how different would our lives be if we chose to live in the now? We chose to have gratitude for the exact moment we're in, because the reality is only 3/7 of our lives are Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays. So why would we want to spend over half of our lives just waiting for the other half, We need to accept where we are and learn it's okay if it's just a Tuesday. A random Tuesday you can still cherish these moments. You can still enjoy it. Stop hoping to be in a different time. Stop hoping to be in a different day. Be where you are now. And eventually the Friday is going to come, and I think that concept kind of reminds me of this idea that my dad has talked to me about a little bit of just the highs and the lows will pass. And you can either see that and be scared, or you can see that and have gratitude for where you're at. Because, yes, if you're having the greatest time of your life, it's not going to last forever. That's the reality. But on the other side, if you're going through a really hard time in your life, that's not going to last forever either. Life is a roller coaster. We're constantly having the ups and downs in our lives, but nothing is permanent. We get to decide how we take in those ups and downs, though. We get to decide whether we let the downs destroy us or whether we use them to make our highs even higher, to make our highs even more enjoyable. We have the opportunity to switch our mindset about those things, and it's just so important to cherish the time we have and understand that this isn't forever. So if you're in the good moments, cherish them because you're going to have hard times again. But if you're in the hard times, understand that it's not going to be forever. You're going to make it out. You're going to make it to the weekend. You're going to make it over that hill or mountain that you're climbing. We need to learn how to live the life we want to live now and don't wait. Your life is a reflection of the things that are most important to you. Whether that's friends, family, your job, your sport, whatever it is, your life reflects it. So if your family's important to you, then you should be making time for your family. You should be hanging out with them. If your friends are important to you, same thing there. We need to be using our lives as a reflection of those things. We need to make sure that the things we prioritize in our lives are actually prioritized. We can't put our friends and family to the side if they're truly important to us. That's not how life works. We need to make sure our lives are in balance and we have kind of an order, and we need to make sure that if something means a lot to us, we need to put effort into it. We need to put that on the top of our list and make it a priority because your time is valuable. And with your time being valuable, I think it's important to understand friendships. I think friendships are extremely hard, but ultimately, since life is so short, we need to realize, are our friends building us up or are they tearing us down? Because it makes a difference in our lives. We shouldn't be spending our lives hanging out with people who tear us down and who make us feel like we're not enough. We need to find friends and build our lives around people who want the best for us, who are going to push us to be our best. And if you have maybe friendships in your lives that you don't think are really doing that for you, I encourage you to take a step back. And maybe that's, having a conversation with them and saying, hey, this hurts me or this doesn't make me feel good. Or maybe it's you need to take a step back and completely distance yourself from that person because they're not treating you the way you deserve to be treated. Life is too short to spend your time hanging around people who are not worth your time, who are not aligned with your life. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you hate them. That doesn't mean that they're just this terrible person. It just means you aren't aligned. And that's okay. But we need to surround ourselves with a community of people who do build us up and who do make our time here on earth, which is very short, worth it. If we're lucky, we get 100 years on earth, but the time is passing so fast. And when we look back on our lives, when we're older, do you want to see the you that's just hanging out with your friends because you want to be popular? Or you want them to think you're cool? Or do you want to see you finding friends who genuinely love you and value you and make you feel like you're a part of something? Those are the differences. And you have the opportunity to recognize, are my friends good or no? And if not, what changes should I make? And if your friends are very good and they push you towards your best self, then keep them. Make that effort to keep that friendship alive, to keep building it, to keep growing that community, because that's so important and it makes life so much better and so much more enjoyable. And you get to carry the burdens with your friends. You don't have to do it all alone, and it's so important. You don't want to spend your time with people who make you feel so much heavier. You want the people you hang out with to carry the weight with you and to lighten the burden, because that's what community is. We're joining together to carry everything that's going on in our lives together. Another thing would be jobs. Your jobs take up so much time. You know, a lot of people work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, whatever, and they do that 5 times a week. And it takes up so much of their time, but they're not enjoying what they're doing. And to that, I'd say, what's the purpose behind that? Because is it worth it to be miserable just to make the extra money? You know, is it worth it? And maybe it is to you, and that's okay. But if it's not, like, you need to be prioritizing yourself. You need to find the things that you're passionate about. You know, find a job that makes you want to go to work, that you're not dreading to go to work every single day because you enjoy what you're doing. And a great example of that in my life has been my dad. He is a doctor and he owns his own medical practice, and he's been a doctor for a very long time, but he always tells me he doesn't feel like he's working all the time because he's passionate about what he does. It's truly his passion for life, and he loves everything about what he does. And I think that's so important for all of us to find. And it would be so much more enjoyable of a life if we could all just truly pursue the things that we're passionate about and that make us feel like ourselves. Because the money is not worth it if our lives are miserable, right? It's better to go into that profession that doesn't get paid as much, but you just truly love what you're doing. That's better than making a little bit extra money, but dreading every day. Life is too short to do that to ourselves. Life is too short to spend our time every single week doing something that we don't love. It's not worth it. So I encourage you, if you're stuck in this job that you just feel like you are not connecting with, I encourage you to make changes, to find ways to make it more enjoyable, find ways to incorporate what you do love to do, what you are passionate about into that job. And in my own life, I've kind of experienced that. I actually got my first real job in April of 2025, and I ended up working there for about 10 months. Over time, I just realized that the job wasn't something I was passionate about. It wasn't making me excited to go to work. In fact, I was dreading working a lot of the time, and it just wasn't worth it. I was spending about 12 to 15 hours a week, you know, because I'm a student as well, but 12 to 15 hours a week there. And in my opinion, it just wasn't worth the time. It wasn't worth it if I wasn't happy there. And so I ended up leaving. I stopped doing that and I started babysitting. And I I think babysitting has been so healing for me because I do love it. It is something I'm passionate about because I want to be a mother when I'm older. I want to have 2 kids and I want to love them so, so well. And I think babysitting is training for that. You know, I get to learn how to comfort kids and I get to learn how to change diapers and do all of the motherly things, you know? It's something that I love to do. And I don't dread going to babysit them. You know, I look forward to it because it's something that I love. And it's made all the difference in my life. And, you know, if you have something like that in your life that maybe you need to get rid of and replace with a different job that you're more passionate about, do it. You know, take the step. I promise you it will be worth it because your life is too short. It's too short to do things that aren't making you happy and aren't fulfilling you. Your time is valuable. It's so, so valuable. And how we spend our time matters so much. Every second matters. And with being just passionate about things and having a love for things, I think everyone has that. Everyone has gifts and talents that we can use for the good of ourselves, but also for other people. I truly believe that everyone's passion can be used for good. For example, if your passion is being a leader, but you also love sports, maybe you need to go be a coach for a sport, and you need to be a leader to the kids who maybe haven't had great coaches. Maybe you enjoy helping people. You feel like your purpose in life is to just make people feel okay. Maybe you need to go be a doctor. Maybe you need to be a therapist. If you are passionate about animals and you just love all animals, all things to do with animals, maybe you need to be a vet. There is a job for everyone. And if you don't know what job that is, test it out. Take the time to search yourself and find, what am I passionate about? What makes me excited to wake up in the morning? What do I find myself thinking about a lot? And take those and build your life on that. Don't build your life on, this will make me more money. This will be better for my finances. No, that's not worth it, and that will never fulfill you. Some of the richest people in the world are actually the most unhappy, and money cannot buy you happiness. And I believe that with my whole heart. And that's a little bit of a controversial topic because a lot of people are like, oh, if I had money to buy my dream car, that's buying me happiness. Money cannot buy you fulfillment. I'll say that. Maybe it can buy you happiness for a time, but it can't buy you joy. Joy is a lasting peace and feeling. Happiness, yeah, maybe money can buy you happiness for a second, a day, a week, but it will never fulfill you. The things that will fulfill you are pursuing your goals, pursuing the things that you're passionate about, and just working towards those things and making those things a big part of your life. So if you have a goal, if you have a dream, if you have a passion, pursue it. Pursue it with all you have. Don't let the world define who you get to be. You get to choose who you want to be. You get to choose the job you want. You have your own passions, and it's important that you understand those and jump on them. Don't wait, because we don't have time to waste. The clock is ticking. So be yourself now. Be passionate. It's not embarrassing to be passionate. It's not embarrassing to have big goals. Run after them. If you have something you want to do, do it. Life is just too short to not do it. And at the end of our lives, we will never regret something we did. We'll regret the things that we didn't do. We'll regret not taking that leap of faith. We'll regret not doing that job that we know would have been amazing for us, that we would have been so passionate about, right? So do it. Don't give your older self the opportunity to be regretful of you now. Do it. Everybody has different gifts and talents, and they can all be used for good, and every job is needed. Some people like to drive. They just really love to drive. They love to be able to listen to music. Okay, they're an Uber driver. We need Uber drivers so that we can get our food. If you're on a professional sports team, we need that profession so that our society can have entertainment and we can unite and have fun and go to games and stuff. We need doctors so that we know how to handle ourselves when we get sick or injured, right? Every single thing, every single job has its own purpose, and no job is quote unquote better than another job. They're all needed. Every job in the world is necessary. And if you're passionate about something, go after it, because we need you. We need teachers, doctors, lawyers, vets, all of the things. We need it. So just be you. Do the things that you're passionate about. Pursue them relentlessly. It's just so important, and it gets me riled up because, my passion is talking about things. My passion is talking about mental health and helping people in any way I can. And that's why I love making these podcast episodes, because this is what I'm passionate about. And if making episodes ever became my career, it would be something that I am so passionate about. I want to help people. And you can find that for yourself as well. With whatever your passion is, whatever your gift is, you can use it. because God made you this way for a reason. I truly, truly believe that. God made you exactly the way you are on purpose. You weren't meant to be any other way. You were meant to be you. And you're meant to have these passions, these drives in your life that are unique to everyone else in the world, you know? Everyone is different, and He made us that way for a purpose. Life wouldn't be fun if we all had the exact same interests, we all thought the same things. No, life is enjoyable because we all enjoy different things. We all love different things, and we get to bond over those different things. We get to learn and feed off of each other. And you are absolutely perfectly made, and I just want to emphasize that. If you feel like you don't have a purpose in this world, if you feel like you're lost and you don't know who you want to be, do not lose courage. Do not lose sight of the fact that you are right where you need to be. Sometimes it just takes time to realize what that purpose is. But I guarantee you, God has a purpose for you, and He can use you for the good of the world. He can, whether that's just one single person in your life, a friend or a family member, or whether that's speaking in front of thousands of people, whatever it is, you can be used for good. And God takes normal people like you and me, and He does extraordinary things with them. And He's done it time and time again. And don't count yourself out. Don't convince yourself, and don't allow yourself to think that just because you're not famous and rich and speak in front of millions of people that your job isn't purposeful. No, you are just as important as they are. Your life matters just as much as theirs does. Just don't forget that. And with this, I've kind of been thinking about legacy. With time passing so fast, it's like, how do I want to be remembered when I'm on my deathbed or I'm not in the room even? If I'm not in the room, how do people remembering me? And I think that's something that kind of encourages me every day to be exactly who I want to be. I want people, when I'm not in the room or when I'm on my deathbed, I want to be remembered as someone who was just kind and showed up for the people around her. And I want people to remember me that way. I don't want people to say, yeah, she didn't really have much of a personality, but, she had money, so it's fine. No, I want people to feel seen. My main goal in life is to just make people feel seen and heard. And I want my life to align with that. So if you have a specific legacy that you'd like to leave behind, align your life with that. Make sure that the way you're acting and your thoughts are aligning with who you want to be and who you are. And if you feel like, you've tarnished your legacy a little bit, you feel like, oh, people probably wouldn't think the best things about me, it's not too late to change that either. It's not too late to come back. You're never too far gone. There's always a redemption opportunity. Every day is a new day to be the best version of yourself, to treat people with kindness, to pursue things that we're passionate about. Every single day. My dog, this is a little bit of a sad example of this, but it's true. And my dog, he was a Great Dane. I had him for probably around 8 years. He died around a month ago, and it was a super, super sad thing to not have him anymore. But when I think about him, I just think about the way he loved. He loved so well, and he was always there to get snuggles with us. He was always there to make us laugh, and he would always run around with a stuffed animal in his mouth, and he was just such a loving dog, and that's how I remember him. That's his legacy that he left behind. And dogs can't even talk, so imagine how much of a legacy you can leave behind. You're a human. You can talk. You can impact the people around you. And it doesn't have to be on a grand scale. You don't have to go in front of all these people and just change the whole entire world. No, you can change the world by changing the person next to you, by being kind to someone when no one else was, by smiling at the person who doesn't get smiles a lot. you have the opportunity to change the world, no matter how big or small it is. You do. One comment, one smile, one day can change someone's life. And I believe that we have that impact on each other. And we can have that impact on each other. With that being said, I think that's all I have to say about this topic. I did get a little bit passionate about that, but this is something that's so important to me, and I don't want to lose sight of how valuable our time is and the impact we can have on the people around us. It's important to realize that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully the audio will be working. I will see you guys next Saturday. If you are not following, I encourage you, if you did like this episode, to please follow. I post every Saturday at 10 p.m. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to say Happy Mother's Day to your moms. And if you are a mom, you are so strong. That's amazing. And Happy Mother's Day to you. And that is the scoop.